Can you tell us if we're gonna get a second season?
We are not.
No.
We are not.
What? Is this official?
Yes.
Hey you, welcome to #LikeItOrNot, the podcast where we're bringing you fashion, culture, and of course, social media. Because like it or not, it's here to stay. My name is Iambriannakay.
And I'm KAOS. And we are so excited to be starting this crazy podcast journey, our first episode. Yay! We really just want to bring real, authentic conversations to people who are in the industry, people you've seen online, on social media. And yeah, we're just so excited to just have bold, fun conversations. And our first guest, the one and only Aurora. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, she is a powerhouse. She's an amazing actress who's redefining what it means to be fearless, fierce, and full of talent. She's been lighting up our screens on shows like Netflix's KAOS, my favorite show of the year, HBO's Westworld, my favorite show ever, and of course the award-winning miniseries When They See Us, which moved us all.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. So yeah, we've known you from these incredible roles. Like you've been in When They See Us, KAOS. You've obviously spent some time in the spotlight. So just to kick us off, like how do you guys feel about that? What does it feel like to be in the spotlight and have so many people know your face, know your name?
You know what? It kind of has been nice. It's like no one has really said anything to me. I think KAOS kind of changed that a little bit where I'm feeling it more. I'm a recluse as is. It's a weird thing where you're like, I want people to know because that means that they're watching the show and, you know, people are seeing all of my friends in these shows that I'm working with and that stuff is really cool. But I'm also just really awkward. So I like going for the handshake every time. People are a little bit like, okay. Yeah. Yeah. They're like, you want to, sure. So it's been an interesting shift. I think.
Yeah. Brie, how's it been for you? Because I know you were in the spotlight a little bit.
Yeah.
Reality TV days.
Definitely. that was a different era almost for me. Because it's crazy. It's like, I feel like when people see you on there in a different way to being an actor. Because when you're an actor, people almost like can separate you from your character.
Interesting, yeah.
But when you're in reality, it's like, we are almost characters in the same way because someone's creating a story around who I am and a persona.
They have an assumption.
Yeah. It's a little crazy because it's like, there's scrutiny. But there's also the fact that there's no script and like the story and what it's going to be is ultimately completely out of your control. So there are literally people who are dedicated to like, okay, how can we make this the most viral? How can we make this the most drama filled? And then it's like, you have to go live your life and people are like, oh my God, I saw when you did this thing. And you're like,
wait, it wasn't really?
It wasn't really?
Like I am playing a character?
Yeah. Like it was, like I was there physically, I guess. It's fun, it's cool. And I think it's a really interesting experience that I feel like you almost have to be a part of to know about. Like, I think about, like, the show I was on is, like, American-based, but I think about people who are on, like, Netflix. So it's, like, people know you in, like, over 100 countries as, like, an archetype. It's really interesting. It's a unique experience.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think in general, as a creative, like, nobody knows all the work that goes on before you get to that spot. They just see this final result. They see you on camera. And it's like, girl, you don't know, like, I had a whole fear of being perceived. Like, I'm scared to do this. You know, I had to talk myself into it. You have to work up that courage. Coming from my radio days back in New York, you know, that was something I dealt with. So we like as a creative, you know what it means to have to be bold, put yourself first, and just put yourself out there to accomplish your goals. So so we're so excited to just have you on today to chat.
Thank you.
We're gonna start off with something fun, something light, a cute little game that we like to call #LikeItOrNot.
Okay.
So basically, just to give you the rundown, we're gonna give you a bunch of topics, and then you have your stick, right? So you're just gonna like it or not, and then give us a quick little tidbit on what you.
Oh, okay. I'm picking it. All right. Champagne, like it or not? I'm gonna say not because I don't know what it is. It makes me feel sick as soon as I take a sip of it. I'm just like it goes right into my head like immediately. I'm not fun like that.
So we might not pop the champagne.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys should pop it. I'm just gonna like look longingly.
Okay, we'll pour you one for the vibe.
There we go.
We'll pour one out for the homies.
Literally.
Ooh, girl dinner. Like it.
Of course.
Yeah. You know, I don't want to do the whole thing. Just like put things together, call it a day. It's like really easy. I don't know.
What's your go-to girl dinner?
Thank Thank you. Cheese and crackers.
Okay.
I just think it's like the easiest.
That's the definition of growth.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there you go. You've had it. And it's kind of it.
Mine is literally sleep. Like, that is my sleep is my girl dinner. If I'm really down bad, I'm like, look at night.
Mine might be like a smoothie, honestly.
Wait, that's involved.
I was going to say, that feels like work.
Yo, it's literally a banana and some strawberries.
Again,
And I'll have
work.
like the whole day.
I'm crying.
Okay.
Wow, Romeo and Juliet. Oh,
This is a deep cut for you.
I like it.
Okay.
But I am partial to the 1996 Romeo and Juliet with my dad. I think it's my favorite performance I've seen him do, but also like one of my favorite performances, period, in life. So yeah, him as Mercutio, I like it. I like
He's
it a
so
lot.
fun.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I watched that in middle school. Actually, no, it was in high school. They showed us that movie.
I feel like it was a...
Yeah, not middle school.
Yeah, no, but I think you're right. It was like a... What class was that?
English class.
Yeah.
And he was such a standout.
Yeah.
But he was so free with it. And I remember that scene where he was like,
Yeah, with his little crop top.
on the staircase. And I was like, who is he? Like,
Yeah.
That guy. But also I love him in From. Like, he is.
From is awesome.
Literally that
it's
guy.
so fun. Okay. Wow. I didn't realize these were going to be a little pointed. All right. Afro beats. Like it.
Okay.
Like it. Anything that you can dance to, I'm here for. Well, for the most part.
Yeah.
But this for sure. Influencer branded items. Consuming influencer branded items.
Think flat tummy tea.
Please no offense. I'm so glad we got past those things.
I'm going to say I don't like it. And the reason I'm going to say this is because I've been scammed one too many times on like a TikTok thing.
Yeah.
What's that, like water
TikTok shop is not
flosser?
getting me.
Oh,
they got you
water.
They got me. And I was like squirting it in my mouth and just like shooting things everywhere in my bathroom. And it did not floss my teeth. So I'm going to say no.
It didn't land.
What about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, they tried to get me to do a branding with that one, and I was like, I'm not lying to the people.
You're like, this is not for
lying
me.
to the people.
They sent me some ramen. It was the crustiest, driest, least flavor. I'm like, how do you mess up ramen?
And then you're like, you want me to
yeah, I was
share
like,
this.
I'm not posting this.
No. Ooh, the Nepo baby discourse. I actually like it. And here's why. I think that there's nepotism in every industry. And I also think to not recognize your nepotism is like hilarious. I think for everyone it's different and it helps with certain things. Like my dad being an actor definitely helped me get an agent, and I'll never lie about that. And that's one of the hardest things to do, I think, is getting like a decent agent. And at the time I got an agent that he was also with at the same agency, at least. And that was really difficult at the time. None of my friends could get agents. That nepotism helped me a lot. And then, there's different levels. If your parent is an A-lister, you're probably getting movies a little bit easier, but like it's at every level. So I think it would be weird to deny. But
I think it's an important conversation because, like you said, it's prevalent in every industry, but because your industry is so front facing, it's so much more obvious. Like no one's mad when like someone takes over like the plumbing family business. Right. But when you want to act to or produce, it's like, oh my God.
Problem.
Yeah, and I get that though, because it's such a tough industry and it is so like beating on your soul that I do get why people are like, oh, they must have got that because of blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it's true.
But you know what?
But it just is what it's unfortunate, it is what it is.
It's like people only criticize when we use nepotism. But do you guys know how many people get their jobs or the CEO's son gets in the building because of it? So it's like, what's wrong with putting your people on? Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm team that, honestly. Put your people on when you can.
Listen,
exactly.
I always will. If I could ever make somebody's life easier, then I know it's like, why not?
100%. It's like, I don't know. That's the number one thing I think you should be doing at this point. But, situationships. That's going to be a no. Just across the board. Been there, done that. Not for me. I think full commitment or just like be single.
Yeah.
Funny enough, our guest actually yesterday.
he said, oh, hell yeah.
Well, he's a man.
Yeah.
I feel like men love a little I don't know.
They're like, it's fun.
What about you guys?
I am anti the situationship.
Yeah, I think I'm always be anti-situationship.
Yeah, it's not for me. No.
Like you said, as you get older, it's just like, okay, too many games. Like,
commit or don't.
And I feel like, honestly, I'm the kind of person where by maybe like the first, second date, I know if I'm really feeling you or not.
100%. I'm one date and done.
Yeah.
I'm like
I'll know.
Like,
Leave
this is my
my
man.
I don't want to like, it's not like a show where you're like, oh, let me watch this first episode. oh, I don't love it, but I could keep going. No, there's too many men.
And if you want to keep going and you're not sure, you're probably just bored. And maybe you need to take some more time to yourself to just be alone and realize why you want to chase after somebody who you don't really even know if you like that.
That is some tea.
Exactly.
That is some tea.
Okay. Posting thirst traps. I like it.
Okay.
I don't really post them myself, but anytime I see someone else do it, I'm like, great, you look amazing. Why would you not? Also, we're going to get old and not look amazing. So I'm like, do it now. Do it now. Look hot for yourself. I like it.
Exactly. The grandkids will love it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How do you feel about the new like feature on Instagram? Like,
wait, what is this?
You know the one just like you can like stories now. I'm saying I love it.
You can always like stories.
No.
I've been liking stories.
I feel wait, yeah.
No, isn't that
oh,
new?
like the heart and then the
or the comments.
Okay,
the comments is new.
I don't like that because now I can't like write a ridiculous comment to someone without everyone seeing it.
Yeah.
So now I have to monitor what I'm saying.
I turned mine off. I was like, I don't think anybody said anything crazy.
Can you turn? I don't know how to do any of this. I don't know how to do any of this.
I want to see what crazy stuff people would say. I would leave it personally. Like, say what you want.
You want the
I'm here. Like, I want to see. Like, reveal yourself. Who are you? Let me know.
Oh my god. Oh, the nice list is in like Santa's. I like it because I think a lot of people are on the naughty list and they need to figure out how to get
to the
nice list just for everyone else's.
Have you ever been on the naughty list?
I'm sure if you ask many of my exes, I definitely have been there once or twice, but I try really hard to stay on the nice list now. Yeah.
I think we need to bring that back.
Bring back the nice list.
Yeah, bring all that
back.
Keep some people
I'm going to send some people this year. I think that's a great idea. It's a great idea.
They have websites for that, you know.
Yeah, you can also send like glitter bombs. And
yeah.
I heard you can send elephant.
Yeah, you can send you can send anything. Okay, we can have to send that later. I'm going to need the link.
Okay. Yearning. I like it. I think any time you can like fully feel something, you know, I'm all about feeling all the feelings. So I like the yearning.
Yeah, I feel like yearning is such a like pop culture moment right now between like Bridgerton, KAOS, like what was it? Challengers. People are like,
oh my god,
yearning, like love triangles are so in right now.
Yeah, they're so in. And in real life, I feel like they're kind of in.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I feel like a love triangle is always in.
Would you be in a love triangle?
I've been in love triangles.
As long as you're the
are you the center?
Point.
Oh, of course.
That's what I'm gonna say. Yeah.
No, if you're not the point, you have to get out.
You have to get out. Then I'm seeing my way out. Of that triangle.
Okay, 100%. Love triangles. Yeah, I'm thinking you mean fighting to the death. I'm no.
They're fighting to the death. Yeah, no. Breaking up over text. I don't like it. I definitely have been that person. But I was
break up or to been breaking up with?
Both.
Okay.
I would say when I was young, I definitely did the like text breakups because I was just immature. But then becoming an adult and being broken up with over text, I'm always like, that is just so lame to me because it's like you didn't really respect the person. Yeah. I think at this age and stuff, like when you're younger, you just don't know what you're doing. But at our age, you can meet up or you can at least call or something. I don't know.
What about soft launching the breakup via text?
As in like, hey, we need to have a convo.
Yeah. I think that's pretty normal.
I actually think that's okay.
Yeah.
Because at least I know it's coming.
Right.
Yeah. Right? There's like a little, you're like,
because if I say, hey, we need to talk, it's not going to be good.
No, we're not having it. This isn't going to be fun.
I've never received a good text after, hey, we need to talk.
No, 100%
hey, we need to talk is 100% always negative.
Yeah. 50-50 relationships. I like it. I think I've always liked it. But I think when you're in like a long-term relationship, I've been in a relationship for almost 5 years now. And at a certain point, you know, you're like, okay, we both have jobs. We're both working people. Like, I don't like the disparity there. It was fun in the beginning. So I think in the beginning, I like to be doted on and all those things. But then eventually I'm like, I make money. I can do stuff too. Yeah. Sometimes I like to take you out. Like, that's kind of, I don't know. Yeah. I like that.
Equal partnership.
Yeah. Taking the subway. I like it.
Real New Yorker in the
I
building.
like
Real
it.
New Yorker in the building. Yeah.
Honestly, I do the same, and I was like, I don't think she's gonna like it.
Well, in LA, maybe not.
There's a subway in LA.
But
Is
there is.
I've never taken
It's actually
public
very
transit.
clean.
Is it?
Because no
But
one
it's
uses
above
it.
ground, so
No,
it's not a subway.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what do you mean?
There's an underground one?
I've heard that the subway was sketchy.
There's an underground subway in LA.
Yeah. It doesn't go a lot of places.
Okay.
And I don't take it. Yeah, I don't take the LA subway. But New York, London, the underground, I love the convenience. I do love driving, but I like to just be able to
Go
The tube.
But exactly. But here, no, you can't.
Okay, I didn't even know it existed.
As you should.
Yeah.
You shouldn't because you wouldn't. Doesn't go anywhere.
No. Have you guys heard about the whole like underground community in LA? There's like apparently like a whole world underneath the subway system.
Okay.
Yeah, there's people live down there. They have like
Huh? Maybe
I
that's.
don't know. I've heard about.
I heard about there's an underground Starbucks that like only A-list celebrities can go to. Do you know about this?
No, I've never heard of
Dad
this.
tell you about this?
No, never heard of this. I'm gonna have to find it now.
The underground Starbucks. It's like a reserve Starbucks. Like they have
That's
drinks we don't even
hilarious.
know exist, and you have to sign an NDA to work there.
Stop.
No, I-
But this
the
is
guy-
not real.
The guy's NDA expired, and so he.
So
can't-
he's out. Just
So he's like doing podcasts.
that's amazing.
We should get him.
Yeah, I was just saying you guys need to figure this out. You like the subway?
Of course. I mean, as a New Yorker, it was convenient, but I'm not gonna lie, I was that one girl in New York who was driving everywhere. Like, yeah, I was driving
Really?
down to
What?
34th, everything.
Where are you parking?
Getting a
Literally.
ticket every time.
No, the cost is adding up.
Exactly. No,
That's
I had
not
to
for
be
me.
Stopped. Yeah, I really had to be stopped. It was bad.
Wow.
Girl, I was Ubering. So.
Honestly, like New
Fair
York
enough.
City parking probably ran me out of New York. That's like half the reason why I came
100%.
here.
Because you have to pay for like a $30
No, I
for like a
had
lot.
thousands of dollars in tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Whoa.
Mistletoe. Like it. Any kind of like affection, I'm here for it.
Have
I
you ever
like
had a
it.
mistletoe kiss?
In high school, my first boyfriend, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's very cute. Except for it was like in front of like all the guys, and I was like,
Really?
I don't know if this is as cute as I wanted it to be, but in theory, I like it.
Did he set you up to go under the mistletoe?
No, it was more like the friend
Oh, pushed you.
pushed
Okay.
me there, and then I was there, and he was like, "Oh my god, there's a mistletoe." So it was cute-ish.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was a child. Sure,
Yeah.
it was cute.
Are you a person who's like big on celebrating holidays?
I love Halloween, which is not really a holiday.
No, I feel you on
but
that.
that's like my favorite holiday.
What were you this year?
Surprisingly, I was just too busy and I didn't do anything, and I was kind of sad about it. I was like, do I put up decorations late or I didn't do
Just
anything.
opt out for the year.
I just opted out.
I don't know. Something about Halloween. Usually I'm like a Halloween person too. I love dressing up. This year, I don't know what it was.
I feel like a lot of
didn't
my
go
friends
anywhere.
didn't
Yeah,
do
I just
anything.
chilled, honestly.
Yeah,
know.
it was just a weird year.
It was just a weird year.
It's a weird year.
And I feel like people went hard this year. Like I saw so many.
None
good
of my friends did
costumes.
anything.
Really?
No, I guess
I feel like
normally.
people weren't really going crazy this year. Like
But normally
know.
I throw
Heidi
the party
Klum.
every year.
Only
so
Heidi Klum went crazy this year. With her
every year,
peacock.
every year she's like some crazy. What was she?
A worm last year.
She was a worm, and then this year she was ET.
No, she was a peacock, and then
And
she had
then
a bunch
ET?
of men as her feathers.
Honestly, iconic. It really, really is.
Okay, last one.
Yeah.
Okay. Couple social media accounts. Don't like it. I don't like it. It makes me feel, it's like when, I don't know, it makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like it's just something about it feels not,
Performative.
it's like not authentic, which social media is not always authentic. I'm sure mine is not all the time, but something about two people agreeing to be not authentic together like scares me. There's something really
Diabolical.
Too
scary.
much going on.
Yeah.
Okay, yay. So that finishes our first round of Like It or Not.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
So yeah, now we're just gonna pop our bottle, do a little introduction. So
Yes.
cheers. Cheers to having you on as our first guest. All right, I did this really good yesterday.
You got it. There was the smoke and everything.
Oh, okay. I'm not good at this at all, so
Popping bottles.
no.
Okay, so cheers to our first episode. So many more.
Woo! Oh!
Okay. Okay, cheers.
Cheers. Thank you for having me. Cheers.
You can see the nice.
You can see that.
Yes, guys. Dom Perignon.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm really curious because, like, knowing that your dad's been in the industry and like you grew up. Did you grow up in LA?
Yes and no. Yes and no. We lived in New York, and then we moved to Australia, and then Hawaii, and then LA, New York, kind of back and forth. And now we're all here.
So take us back to your upbringing. Like, what was it like? How did you grow up?
Honestly, my upbringing was surprisingly very chill. My parents are very like down to earth, kind of hippie people, or at least they were. And I lived in Tribeca with them, and we kind of just went wherever dad or mom was, working. And yeah, I kind of thought it was just normal. I was like, oh yeah, just go live in Australia for a year, and then you go do this thing for a year. I think I was around so many adults at the time, and I think it kind of gave me like a little bit of like, I felt more grown up than I was, because I was only hanging out with grown-ups and I didn't have a lot of like children friends. So I think that was kind of like a weird adjustment. Then when I stationed here, I was like, oh, now I have to be friends with people my age. Yeah. This is weird.
I have to be a kid.
Yeah, I have to be a child. Okay.
Well, your dad was in the industry, so did you have a moment where you realized you wanted to follow in his footsteps and pursue acting?
I thought that's what everybody did. And I thought like if you were a firefighter, you're also an actor. Like that was I was like, what do you mean they all are acting? Yeah. And so I did do that when I was little. I started when I was probably like 5, and then I didn't get a commercial that I had auditioned for. And I thought that auditions just meant you get the job. So when I didn't get it, I was like, what? I'm not doing this. This is horrible.
You're
so
like, when do I go to work?
Yeah, I'm like, what do you mean they didn't like me? I quit, and I started again probably when I was like 17. Just realized I actually want to do it. I modeled for a little bit and realized I wasn't getting fully like the art that I wanted from it. Like I thought it was a cool expression, but not getting to go as deep as I wanted to. So then I quit and started acting full time.
Was there like a moment when you realized like, okay, my life is different? Like one specific moment?
Honestly, not until I got older, because a lot of my parents' friends, since they were also actors, some of them had kids when we like moved here, and they all had a similar upbringing. So I was kind of just like, oh, that's what we're all doing. I think when I went to high school, that's when I was like, okay, I went to performing arts high school. No one else was in the business. None of their families were in the business. And that was a little bit more of a...
Was this in New York?
This was here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why I feel like I'm from New York, but I've been here so long that I kind of feel like I'm from LA at this point.
I feel like your vibe to me is...
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed you were
I feel like once you hit the 5 mark,
you're basically... I'm from here, basically. Yeah, it's a little... I feel like I have more of the like chilled out LA surfer vibe than I have like the New York kind of thing.
But I could also see you in New York as well. Like...
Listen.
Yeah, like...
I can see you like Brooklyn.
Williamsburg. Yeah, there you
go. Exactly that. Okay, so coming right off your new Netflix show, KAOS, tell us about like, what was that moment like for you when you first got the script, you got the role, you had to identify as your character Riddy, like just walk us through how you resonated with that role.
It came at such a weird time. I had just screen tested on this other show that I thought like, I rarely think I'm going to get something. Like I'll audition and be like, oh yeah, that was good. But like, I don't think I'm that right for it. And this other job, I was like, this is my job. And I never feel that way unless I get the job. Yeah. So I had screen tested on this thing, and then they held me forever. And then it came down to like a look thing. And it was like a thing that I couldn't change. It wasn't like, oh, you can go straighten your hair or something like that. And so I was pretty devastated. It was such a long process. And then the show kind of came out of nowhere, and I got just like a regular audition, and I saw Charlie Covell's name, and I immediately freaked out because I loved End of the Effing World like so much. And I didn't care. I was like, I don't care if this is the tiniest role. I don't care what this is about. I don't care if it's a horrible script. Like, I am doing this show. Yeah. And I didn't get a script or anything. They were kind of just doing the sides. And it was a UK show, and they had just opened up to auditioning Americans because they were trying to hire mainly just British or, European people. And they had opened it up to Americans. And it was a long process, but it was just like, I did it. And then I had a callback with Charlie and the whole team. And then I had a chem read with Misha Butler. And then I think there was one more read, but that was kind of it. And at that point, I had read the script by the chemistry reading point. And I was just like so in love with Riddy and so in love with the world that they were building and how like unique every person was and every god was. I just thought it was like the weirdest, perfect kind of match for me. So
it's so fun and modern. Like that's what stuck out to me, because I was like, I'm a fan of like all types of mythologies, but especially Greek. So to watch it and like see it in a modern day, I feel like people have tried to modernize Greek mythology, but it never like lands. But this landed in such a way where I was like, wait, is this supposed to be now?
I think the thing with Charlie, which is so funny, because when you read some of the reviews, there's people who are like very purist and they're like, this isn't right and this isn't real Greek mythology. But these people I'm like, you don't understand. Charlie actually went to school and studied mythology. Charlie is like I literally think they're a genius. They're so well versed in mythology, and this wasn't really supposed to be like a retelling. It's more of like a modernization and kind of like making it your own. It wasn't like, oh yeah, we're just completely telling Greek mythology as it is.
Took a creative spin.
Yeah, which is why there's so many Easter eggs and all these things. But I think that's why it could be like stomached by people who don't know what Greek mythology is. Because I think if you stick to the script completely, it's hard to follow. So that's what I really enjoyed about it.
Greek mythology was like the basis, and like their imagination was like what built on top of it.
Exactly.
And it just took it to such a fun, cool, unique, quirky.
So quirky.
No, it was so good. I was literally just like watching through.
And there's like the dichotomy between like how bright and vivacious like heaven pretty much was versus like the real world kind of felt more standard, and then the underworld. Like how do you feel like those different levels and layers like played?
You know, it was interesting because when we signed on, the underworld wasn't black and white, or
really?
It might have been, but they weren't telling us that. So it was just like, oh yeah, it's all kind of going to maybe be the same thing. But then as we started, you know, we all got to Spain and started talking about the show, they really wanted there to be that contrast of like the rich and then, you know, the people that are just the common people. And then when you're dead and it's kind of just like this soul sucked, like black and white, the characters aren't seeing it in black and white, but just for the audience to kind of experience that, I thought was a really cool juxtaposition.
Was there a certain part of your character Brittany that you identified with the most? Like, was it easy to connect with her, or you had to get there a little bit?
You know, it's the original script changed infinitely, probably for the best for like an audience's perspective. But when I first read it, there was a lot of similarities between me and Riddy, and she reminded me a lot of like my younger self, who kind of didn't stick up for herself and kind of felt like lost in the world and not sure like where to go. And I think they still kept some of those things, and it's like her kind of gaining her own agency and learning what works for her and all those things. And I think that was something that really resonated with me, because I've been on that journey, and I've also been in her shoes of like loving someone but not being in love with them, which is like such a deep, horrible feeling.
But it's a very real thing.
It's so real. Yeah, it's super, super real. So yeah, I had a very soft spot for her. Yeah.
And the kitten, Dennis, I was obsessed with him.
The cutest, I mean, there was like 5 of them, but the one that I got to play with, I was obsessed with that cat. I was trying to take it home, but someone else adopted the cat. They were like, you're not bringing this cat from Spain to America. I was like, okay.
No. Okay. I would have just packed him in the suitcase.
Yeah, I was like, why not? So tiny.
Did you have like a favorite moment on set?
Oh man, I had so many, but I guess like favorite scene, if I could, I think with me and Killian is our breakup scene after we get out of the bin. I think for both of us, it was just like we've both felt that before, so it was nice to like come together, and it was also something that was talked about so much during filming, not between him and I, but like people are like, oh, the scene's coming up, and like all this anxiety, and we're like, it's okay, it's all gonna be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine. And at that point, we had built such a good relationship, because it was like halfway through filming, that I think it felt way more real than had we maybe just done it right away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's say you could play any Greek god or goddess. Who would you choose?
Probably Athena. Ooh. Goddess of war. It's so funny because I'm always like, I don't want to keep playing these tough characters, because I feel like I always have like a gun or something, except for in the show I always have a gun, or I'm like fighting someone, but then I'm like, yeah, Goddess of war, that sounds good.
Yeah, I think they're like seeing something in you, like a warrior, like survivor spirit that maybe you're not even recognizing in yourself.
I'll take it.
Because like they keep, like I remember in C in Westworld, you were definitely tough. Like hold no bars.
When I auditioned for that, I was like, I'm not getting this. And then I was like, oh, okay. What about you? Is there?
I think, oh my gosh, I feel like this is gonna be so basic, but like Aphrodite, like
why is that basic? That's like, a great one.
I'm such a lover girl, but also it's like if you say someone else is prettier than me, like she might end up missing. Like she might go away.
I love it. I might
turn into her and they'll be like, hey.
What about you?
I don't know. I mean, why not be like the queen of it all? I might just want to be Hera.
Honestly, 100%.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be turning Zeus's lovers into bees and like?
Oh, we don't have to see about that. Did you see
definitely
how
would.
many Yeah, we're gonna have to see about that.
I don't know. I'm team doing that.
Yeah,
No, honestly, I was like, this is like twisted, but like I get
But
it.
also
I
100%.
And Zeus is just like, oh well.
Yeah. Just another one.
So, like you were saying, you've had to play some pretty tough roles. Another like tough role was when you were in When They See Us, which was obviously, you know, like very impactful, like such a powerful show, and even more so because it was really telling the full like real life story about what happened with Central Park 5, them getting exonerated after being in jail for so long. So just like tell us what that was like being in something that's special to a culture in our community, but also heavy. But you know, it was such a big moment. What was that like?
It was a really, really beautiful experience because we got to be with the men and meet them prior to filming. And they were on set a lot of the time, which was kind of nerve-wracking because you just want to make sure that their story is being told how they want it to be for the first time after like such a, you know, their story's been warped so many times. It was really beautiful. And I think the thing is you don't always get this on sets where people are like fully 100% committed because they're like, some people don't like their job and that just is what it is. This was not. Everyone was showing up every day, fully committed to what they were doing, wanting to make sure it was the best thing that, you know, they could give. It was amazing. It was also amazing to, I knew about the case being from New York and all of that, but I didn't know about it in the depth that I got to learn about it. Like we got all the case files and stuff because Ava was just like really adamant that we all knew exactly how everything played out. And it was amazing. I think that the best part was really getting to celebrate with the guys at the end of the whole thing. They were, you know, they were really moved by it and moved that people wanted to tell their story, which was so funny because we all felt we were like, we're moved that we get to do this. Yeah. It was really incredible. And I think, you know, it did what it needed to do in like educating people that didn't.
No, it definitely did. I can't even imagine what it was like filming it because just even watching it, like I had to take breaks. It was so powerful, but in the best way. And like you said, like I felt, of course, like no one knows what really happened besides those men that were there. But like you guys taking that time to tell their story in a way that they felt represented them and the experience that they went through. Yeah, it was just like amazing. But definitely hard to watch. Like, it's definitely hard to watch.
So hard to watch. And it's hard to watch too, because when you meet these men, they are so positive and like kind and loving and giving. And you're just like, you would think that it would be the opposite at this point because they've been beaten down.
They'd be jaded. If they walked around mad at the world every day,
you would be like, you guys, as you should. But it was the complete opposite. I've never met a group of men that were just more like thankful for this second chance at life, even though they should have never been in the position they were in the first place. It was amazing.
One of the guys, Kevin, the one who like played the trumpet, was really into music. I went to Syracuse.
Oh, no way.
He came by and we actually gave him like an honorary degree. Yes. He was so happy. He was smiling. Like he was just so thankful. I was like, this man is such a sweet soul. Like, how are you like that after going through such a crazy experience, you know?
I know, yeah.
It's crazy to think about how, especially like in relation to that time period, it felt like there was so much like tension. And then I remember that came out and it was such a like a juggernaut of a show because it felt like it was so relevant to what was happening. Like there was like George Floyd and there was all those different social movements that were happening. Yeah. Do you feel like the creation and the show coming out like was a part of that moment? Do you think it related to it?
I feel like in a way, everything kind of, I'm just going to sound so hippy-dippy, but I feel like everything kind of relates to each other in the world. And I think that if something's moving over here, that shifts something moving somewhere else. Like I really do think it all kind of melts together, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. So I do think it all kind of shifts things.
And I think it opened people's eyes to like why there was so much underlying like tension in the air during that time period.
Yeah, I think so too, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So coming off that, okay, you've had the roles that you've played already. Do you have a dream role that you would love? If you could create a role for yourself, like who would she be? What would she look like? What kind of film would it be or show?
Okay. I've said this a million times, so I'm sorry that you guys are going to get the same answer, but I'm just going to say it until it happens. Denzel in Training Day as Alonzo.
I love me some Denzel.
I want to be the bad guy that for some reason you're still like
rooting
for. And you're like, this guy is horrible. Yeah. I really want to play a villain, and I think I'm always on the opposite end, and I'm always the good guy. Which is fine.
Was like
She has
real.
She was real, but at the end of the day, her goal is to save humanity.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, she's like, that's cool now.
That's cool. But I feel like I'm always at this, like, maybe because I do a lot of fantasy and like stuff like that. I'm always like, about to save the world. And I'm like, that's cool. When can I destroy
the world?
Yeah. And I really want to do it though, more so because I think it's a challenge to like not judge a character. Do you know what I mean? Even like with C, for instance, when I first read that I had to shoot Jeffrey right in the shoulder, I like was crying because I'd become friends with him and I'm just a baby. So I was like, I don't want to do this. And I was like, why would she do this? And I was like, oh yeah, you have to not judge her. And she's trying to get this, you know, it's for love and all these things. And so I think it would be a nice challenge for me to figure out why a villain does what they do without judging what they're doing. Yeah. That's the thing. I just want to be challenged mainly because I want to not fake shoot Jeffrey Wright and cry. I literally left the room and cried after I shot him. And everyone was like, it's fake.
Like,
I was like, yeah, no, I know. I was like, I wanted to shoot him. You're right.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's
well, you know what? As we get older, I realized that, you know, it's not always the worst thing being the villain. Sometimes, like, sometimes the villain gets things done. Like,
this is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Actually, I was having an interesting conversation about this. I noticed that in Marvel, like, they'll have somebody be a villain, but like when you hear their manifesto, I'm like, wait, this is like good for humanity. Like, actually, wait, is like Iron Man the bad guy in this case? Like, I'll hear stuff and I'm like, this is interesting. Like, this guy, like, he wants people to like have freedom and rights, and they're like, nope, we gotta stop it. Like, no freedom.
Yeah, he's gotta be locked up.
Get him out of here. So I had a question kind of about how social media is affecting like the acting landscape, because I know there was a time before social media was like considered and it was just about your skill and like how your audition went. Have you noticed that the landscape is changing now that followers matter?
It's really funny you bring this up. I was just up for a movie that I really, really wanted. And it's definitely one of those like big budget kind of younger films. So it kind of makes sense the way that this happens. But I was up for it, and then I thought me and the director really hit it off, and the studio seemed all on board. And then they were like, oh, she doesn't have enough followers. And they hired somebody who has 22 point, whatever million followers. Yeah. And I was like, I have like 40,000 followers. Like, what are we talking about? And in my brain, I'm like, well, I'm an actor. Like, to be honest with you, I don't even want social media. My agents are just like,
you have to.
They're like, just don't delete it, because in case you blow up on Instagram, then it might help you. I don't think that's how my career is ever going to be. So I'm like, whatever, I'll just keep it until one day, oh no.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
No, you're so famous, you don't even need that anymore.
No, honestly.
Well, I think it definitely does for certain projects. But then it's like, for something like a KAOS or a Westworld, they don't care. Yeah. So it really is project to project. I don't know if it's going to last that they look at that for things, but I think we're in a weird time where nothing is making money. Right. And so they're like, oh, well, maybe if I get someone who's got 22 million followers, if even half those people show up to the movies, we're making money. Do you know what I mean? So I think everyone's just throwing stuff at the walls, and you kind of like, I get it. It makes sense. I don't like it, but I totally...
That you understand.
Yeah. And I think you have to try things until you realize it doesn't work. I don't think there's like a certain thing that's going to like change getting people to the movies, other than them wanting to spend the money to go see that movie. I don't think... I don't know. I don't think it matters, but right now it does kind of matter. But then, I have like, my best friend is, she's in a really big movie right now, and she has no social media. And I was kind of talking to her, and she was like, did you ever think maybe having it makes it worse? Because then they go and they look and they go, oh, she only has this many followers. She's like, if you go look me up, they're like, I don't know how popular she is or not. I was like, yeah.
That's actually smart, because then they actually get to see her for what she's done.
For what she is.
Yeah, they just look at your...
When you Google her name, you're not clicking on her Instagram link first. You're clicking on her work.
Exactly.
Guys, let's all get off social media.
Delete immediately.
I vote for at least just like, I think they need to shut down social media for like a year.
Yeah.
Get people back to reality. Get us back to what we were meant to be doing, like connecting with each other. Vibing and
just living, like touching grass.
Touching grass. Remember when IG, like back when IG first started, we were all just like posting our plants, posting
random stuff.
Like, can we get back to those vibes? I just feel like IG is so curated now. It's definitely I used to.
There's
love
like
Instagram,
a pressure to it now that wasn't there. I mean, I was posting the weirdest stuff before, and my publicist was like,
"Girl, you got it.
Get it together."
She was like, "You're gonna scare people." I was like, "Why? That's what's going on in my brain. What do you mean?" My co-star in KAOS, we did like a whole press day, and it was all social media stars. And I don't know if he didn't realize, but they were like, what's one superpower you want? He was like, to shut off social media. They were like, Kate. I was like, they're all social media stars. This is not the vibe. I was like, maybe for a day. A day is fine. I don't know.
Do you have a favorite app right now that you use?
Oh God, Spotify.
Oh, okay. Spotify.
Okay, there we go.
Podcast.
Yeah. I better see you on the listen.
Right. I need to see you subscribe.
Me playing over and over again nonstop.
Subscribes.
What about you guys?
Ooh.
Mine is definitely TikTok. Yeah.
I'm loving YouTube. Like I'm going back to the OG internet era days, long form. Like
what are you watching, like blogs?
Watching vlogs, watching a lot of actually podcasts. And also like I'm loving like Diary of CEO. Like Stephen Bartlett has a really amazing podcast.
Okay.
And like the production's amazing. And he always has people who like have so much great information. And like I'm like, dang, I feel like I'm a better person.
You're
after
learning.
that.
Yeah.
Like, cause I felt like the algorithm of like Instagram and TikTok was like giving me stupider and stupider things. And I was like, am I getting dumber and like choosing to get dumber and wasting my time?
Yeah.
Well, that's how it feels for a second. And then I realized how important it is to actually like curate your social media.
Right. You
like,
can make it show you what you want.
I unfollowed a bunch of people who I felt like just weren't serving me. I followed accounts that I felt like were serving me.
Yes.
And now, so like when I do go on Instagram or TikTok, I am, if I'm not inspired or if I'm not learning something, I'm laughing. Because that's important too. Sometimes just having a time.
That is,
you know, but yeah, I got rid of all the negativity. I don't follow the shade room. I follow all those accounts that I'm just like, this is so negative.
This is messy.
Yeah. Like, and you know that energy is real that you receive from social media, like especially when you go on those deep dives, you know, scrolling. I think it's just so important to just be intentional with your feed, like be intentional with the content that we consume, because we can't escape it.
It can make you real depressed. I mean, I deleted my TikTok. I don't
really.
Yeah, because I was just doom scrolling and feeling the same thing. I was like, am I laughing because this is funny or because I'm losing brain cells? I don't know. And then my Instagram, I only follow people that I have met for the most part. So yeah, I don't really even follow artists that I don't know, just because I think it's better for my brain, not because I like don't love those artists. I'm just like, I don't want to see anything. It's not like, oh, I know this person. Okay, great. Yeah.
No, it's important because I feel like also in the early days of social media, it felt like there was so much following like content creators and like, oh my God, like they're in Bali today. And like, I'm sitting in my room. Okay. Yeah. There's like a pressure. It's weird. Yeah. But okay. On a more like fun note, what's your like guilty pleasure, like social media thing? Like for me, it's like low-key conspiracy theories. Like I love a good.
I'm the same. I will go into the biggest rabbit hole, get on Reddit about these.
I'm like, what? Who did what?
But my problem is I take it into the real world and I'm like, have you heard about this thing? And people are like, I don't think it's real. I'm like, right.
Snopes said actually that this
is not real. I'm like, well, that's conspiracy theory.
I'm like, they don't want us to know the truth. They don't want us to know the truth.
I'm the same.
I'm in like a weird rabbit hole of like, you guys remember those What Would You Do videos? Like back in the day, like WWYD, like, you guys remember that show?
No, you're gonna
you gotta tell us.
Where he has the hidden camera set up and then he gets like a real life scenario.
Yes.
And then he's asking like, what would you do? Like it's all this crazy.
I feel like I'm gonna find this now.
I saw funny when it was Drake was like trying to get out of a parking lot.
Oh yes.
And the pregnant lady comes.
Yes.
And she's like, can I get in your car? And he's like,
no.
I don't know.
And he's freaking out.
He's also concerned for her.
No, I have to look this up. I want to watch these.
It's so like that's
kind of like a prank video.
Yeah,
it's
almost
like
I remember Punk, but it's like the successor to Punk.
Okay.
Almost. But they do like funny scenarios, like real life scenarios. Like they'll have one where, let's say, like a homeless person comes into a restaurant and everyone's refusing to pay for that person, and they're like, they'll just get, it's like a social experiment.
I see. Okay.
Real reactions of like, what would you do in this certain scenario?
So I like it.
That's where I've been.
That's your guilty pleasure, like deep dive.
That's where if I open my app right now,
that's what we're gonna find.
Okay, what about those 20 V1s? Do you watch?
I skip so quick.
These what?
So
the pop the balloon videos.
The pop the balloons. Like,
have you seen those?
No.
Okay, good. That means you're doing well.
Okay. So pretty much we'll have like a guy or a girl walk in, and then there'll be a bunch of people of the opposite gender, and they'll be like, "Oh, do you think this person's fine or not?"
Okay, I have seen the first part, and I didn't know what I was going to see, so I just it's like, oh no, I don't know, it's being shown to me.
It's like social embarrassment and torture. Like for the person who's like, they'll just walk in and like everyone will pop their balloons like at once.
No,
and that means like I don't like
that
you.
means that
I
and
would not take that
how you look too,
or like how you walk. Like a guy tripped on the way in, and everyone was like, "Pop."
They got the ick real fast.
Like he was a good guy. It was like no one cared.
Wait, have you seen this UK show where you just see their genitals first?
No.
My roommate.
You know what I'm talking about? It is so bizarre, but it's like you choose
or like
they're just standing there. Everyone's
and
just
then
butt
they judge you
naked.
just based off of like
you
your
choose
bottom
based
half,
off your
right?
bottom half.
I don't like
and
it.
then what is it? You get to see the person's face after,
And then you like decide if you want to date them. I was like, I don't
like
I don't
it.
know what that's doing
think
for me.
I
I'm
want that for
scared.
me. I don't want to be on either end of
No,
it.
I definitely don't want to be on the showing mine end.
No thanks.
Nothing.
No thanks. Yeah.
Because now it's like everyone knows like that was your, if they do pick you.
Yeah.
I think they show everyone's face by the end. So you
Wait, is it blurred, the genitals?
yes. Well, what I've seen,
It's blurred.
So-
On the viewer's end, it's blurred.
I think.
Okay.
I hope so.
Girl, this
I've
is-
never watched. I've
this
heard
is
of it,
crazy.
though. Yeah. This is honestly, they're running out of show ideas.
That's what I'm saying.
How did we get here?
This sounds
I
like
don't
Naked
know.
and Afraid.
Yeah,
like,
but
a little bit,
kind of
yeah.
sounded like Naked and Afraid vibes. Okay, so just bringing back to your career, like, do you have a most like memorable moment or a favorite moment that you've had so far?
You know, I think it would probably be KAOS. I think I didn't realize the size of the show when I signed on, because I was just so excited to get there that I was like, yeah, that person's cast. Oh, cool, whatever. David Thewlis plays Hades in the show, and he is someone who I've loved since I was a child because he was in the Harry Potters. And after I got older, I started following his career, and it's been like a joke amongst my friends for years because he's infinitely older than I am. I'm like, I'm in love with him. If I meet him, I'm going to marry him. And my boyfriend knows this as well. And so
that's your hall pass?
that was basically. And so when I got cast, and then I think it was like a month later, they announced that he got cast. I was like, I have to stop saying this joke now because this is so uncomfortable. And I did not speak to him for so long shooting because I couldn't make eye contact, which was never happened to me in my life. I was just like, oh God, David's in the trailer. Never before. Yeah. It was so strange. So finally he sat me down like halfway through filming and he was like, I want to talk to you because I've watched your work and da-da-da. And like he had gone back and they showed him stuff from the show and all these things. And he was so complimentary that it just kind of like, it was a weird one because everyone's like, there's Jeff Goldblum and all these people. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. David Thewlis. And I think to have someone that I respected so much compliment me and also like make me stop being a weirdo was like such a strange career thing that I've always kind of like didn't know I wanted, but was really affirming to me that like, oh, I'm doing what I should be doing. And like someone that I respect so much that I can't look in the eye right now is saying that he respects my work. And I don't know, it was a really like weird kind of like full circle moment. And also just like my boyfriend and I loved the fact that this happened. He was like, of course, David Thewlis. So I was like,
Did you ever let him know about this like little crush you had?
Apparently everyone else did.
Oh, everyone else.
All my castmates were like, yeah, we've told him. I was like, oh, okay. No wonder he sat me down. He was like, she can't look at me. So yeah, that was probably it. It's a big highlight for me.
That's amazing. I loved his like rendition of Hades because it just felt so different. Like I'm used to seeing Hades be so fiery, and he just brought like such a like.
It's kind of like sad,
like almost somber. But like it's so interesting.
He also like, I mean, Reiki as well, who plays Persephone, is incredible.
Amazing.
She's incredible. But the two of them, she got to do her natural accent. Everyone kind of got to do their natural accent, but he was like, because he's just done it a million times. He's like, I think I'm going to do this random British accent because where my parents are from. So like, that's not how he talks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Really? Yeah. It's like a really.
That was his call. That wasn't like.
Yeah. He asked if they could do it and they were like, yeah, of course. Yeah. Whatever you want. But yeah, he just did his parents' like accent. He doesn't sound like that. He's got way more like the Queen's English, I think is kind of more how he sounds. But yeah, just decided to do it for fun, which I was like, that's amazing that you can do that. That's amazing.
I love that picture of them like. That they had in their bedroom, where it kind of looked like the farmer with the little. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
that was so cute. So, what was the wildest thing you've ever had to do to prepare for a role?
The wildest thing I've ever had to do to prepare for a role. I had to. I don't know if it was wild, but I just thought it was so weird. We had to practice climbing in and out of garbage bins for the show. They did like a whole day of rehearsal of us just climbing in and out of the garbage bins. And I was just like, this is not where I saw my life going. Just like a giant garbage can. And they're like, yeah, just climb in. No, could you do it a little bit more like this? And I was like,
what were you guys preparing for?
Just climbing out of the garbage. It was a full day rehearsal. And like some people were there that never climbed in or out of it that were in the cast. And they were rehearsing it too. And I was like, are you guys getting out of the bins? They were like, I don't know. I have no idea. So it was just like, we all needed to know how to get out of a garbage bin.
New life skill, climbing in and out of garbage bin.
You never know.
you shouldn't practice it because I feel like in real life you don't know how to climb in and out of a garbage bin. So you should just be as bad as you would be naturally, right?
Apparently not.
They were like, you were smooth with it, so
I don't know why everyone else was rehearsing, but I think for us it was because it's a ladder, and then technically you're not just like sitting in the bin. Like the bin is supposed to be empty at the bottom, so you're climbing, and then you have to like jump a little. So I think that was what. Yeah,
that was
a nice, strange little. Yeah.
So wait, can you tell us if we're gonna get a second season?
We are not.
No,
we are not.
What? Is this official?
Yes.
When did this come out? I'm so sad. Right
I think so they canceled us after 5 weeks of us being out. Long story short, it's a very expensive show, and we're in a time where people don't want to spend money, and shows of this expense are not really being made if they're original IP.
Yeah.
Like a Stranger Things or, something that has something behind it already, it makes sense to spend money on those shows. Yeah. I think for business purposes, they're a little scared to keep spending money. We were actually shocked that we even got to finish the show because after the pandemic, after the strike, it was just like, oh my God, are they going to let us finish this thing? And they did, which was amazing. And so it's kind of like a one-off thing. And we kind of knew it was coming, but we were like, there was like a little spark in all of the actors. We were like, maybe.
I feel like it had a great reception. Like people loved it. So.
Yeah.
And I think a season 2 could like highlight so many new things. Like it could be really dope.
It was more guys.
It was a 3, which there was going to be. There's a 3-season arc that it was only ever going to be 3 seasons. So, there's always a little hope that maybe someone else will pick it up. But
bigger and better opportunities.
Yeah.
So
I want to see Ready again.
I know. Yeah. We were all very bummed, but but at the same time we were so grateful that they let us make the show, especially something that's like so weird, so out there, very different. A lot of networks, they don't want to take a shot on something like that. So we were happy that they did that, but
well, I'm glad we got at least one.
Yeah, I know.
I'm heartbroken right now. I know. This is not the news I thought you were going to bring.
No, I wish I had better news.
Well, okay, let's pick it up. So
okay.
What's next for you?
Right now I have a movie that my boyfriend wrote and directed and also acted in with me. And we just were at Austin Film Festival. So that's called Crossword. That'll hopefully come out beginning of next year. I did a movie a couple months ago called Abraham's Boys, which I think will also be out next year, which is kind of like a Dracula-esque spin. Spooky. It's spooky. And then there's some other things that might be happening, but I'm not
gonna share.
I can't share. I would love to share, but not yet.
Okay.
She's keeping it demure.
Yes, trying.
Very demure.
Love it. If you could go back to younger you, like before, you made all these like strides in your career, what would you say to yourself?
I think I would tell myself nothing is personal. And also something that I'm still learning and still trying to do is like to be proud of yourself. Because I think I'm like my harshest critic. I am my toughest critic. And I think I can be really tough on myself. And I think a lot of us can, especially when you're young. And so I think being gentler and being like, no, you're doing good and making sure I know that I'm proud of myself. Because I think that it's nice to hear other people say it and all those things, but you won't really take that in until you take it in for yourself, from yourself. So I think, just be a little gentler.
And you have so much to be proud of yourself
for.
You're on the nicest.
I'm on the nicest this year. Yeah.
This has been so much fun.
Yes, thank you guys. Thank you guys for doing this.
Okay, so if you could leave one last piece of advice for the people, what would you say to everybody?
I think don't take things so seriously. I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned is like nothing matters because everything matters so much. So it's like if you just really stop taking things so seriously, you're like, oh yeah, none of this matters. Yeah. Because there's a greater thing happening beneath you.
Once you calm down a little bit, you also realize most things end up working out. Literally. Like how they're supposed to.
They always work out how they're supposed to.
Maybe not how you plan, but
it'll work out.
I feel like never how I planned. Yeah. But that's okay. It ends up being something better.
Yeah, literally.
You just sometimes can't see it because it feels far away, but it is better. Yeah.
Like there's just such a big plan for all of us. And like we're all living in like this ecosystem. So it always works out.
It always works out.
I agree.
Well, to leave off on that note, we are so happy to have you today.
Thank you
so much for coming to chat
Thank you.
us.
This was so fun.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm so happy.
So, as always, we're so happy to figure out whether you liked it or not. Did you like it or not?
Yeah, did you like it or not?
I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold it up for us if you liked it. You liked it, girl?
I liked it.
Okay, well, I'm KAOS.
And I'm Brianna Kay, and we'll be back with another episode soon.
See ya.